Hello and welcome to the Blood Reds Morning Bulletin. I'm joined by my fellow Liverpool.com writer, David, to discuss last night's result, which was a pretty good one for Liverpool in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of nitpick at elements of the performance, I suppose, but then you look at it on paper and it's a 3-1 away win in a Champions League quarter-final, first leg, and yeah, you've got to absolutely be pleased with that. To get that sort of extra goal at the end to sort of restore that 2-goal cushion, I thought was really important. But yeah, to come away from there, a big atmosphere and a team who were really going for it. It was a really good result in the end.
Yeah, and I think someone who was, I think every Liverpool fan was delighted to have back was Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he showed why Liverpool fans love him so much and why he is so highly rated with that terrific pass for Luis Diaz before Liverpool's second goal. And there were a few other occasions when Liverpool maybe could have scored from his long range passing.
Yeah, I mean the one that sort of sticks out in the mind is that the one for Salah, does it? Sort of right at the end of the first half, is it, where he gets the ball, lets it go through his legs on the turn, and just first time picks out that just unbelievable ball. I mean, he's just a phenomenal footballer, and Liverpool so lucky to have him. And that injury, when you first heard the news of it, sort of really worrying, because he's such a big part of Liverpool's build up and how they play. And would be such, especially going into that Man City game now, we're really concerned about whether he'd be ready for that. But I think he sort of put all those worries aside, didn't he? He didn't look any rusty at all in the game, and yeah, his passing incredible. It's just it's one of those games that sort of makes you wonder why he's not England's first choice right back. But I suppose that's one for Gareth Southgate to ponder, really. But I think Jurgen Klopp fully appreciates how good he is.
Yeah, I think the other thing in his favour is he scored, and he made 3 assists in his last England appearance, albeit it was against San Marino, but he's certainly staking a claim with, I think, 19 goal contributions already. And of course, that doesn't even count as a goal contribution. So if you're counting all his pre-assists and everything, that amounts up to something even greater. But how important do you think as well is that he was able to come through at least, I think, a good chunk of 85 minutes or so until he was substituted? How important is that looking ahead to Manchester City?
Yeah, I think, he didn't show any sort of signs of rustiness, as we said, but I think, you do want to get those minutes in the legs, don't you? And sort of, so you're not throwing him straight into that. I maybe thought he might be subbed off earlier, to be honest, but I think it's good, really, that with it being the Tuesday game and not the Wednesday to Sunday. The Tuesday to Sunday gives him a lot of time to recover from that. If he's not been, he's lost a little bit maybe in fitness in during that time he's been off. So really important to sort of get those minutes in his legs, and yeah, he looked sharp, he looked good, and I think he's going to be absolutely massive against City, because I think it's a team where they don't concede many goals either, much like Liverpool, really. And it's all about how can you creative players find ways through a difficult defence. So I think he's going to be absolutely massive to that. It's sort of him v De Bruyne, really, isn't it? In terms of they play, even though the starting positions are very different, they've got very similar roles for Manchester City and Liverpool, and I think the way those two play will be absolutely crucial in terms of how the result goes. So the fact that Trent is looking really good it bodes well for Liverpool, I think.
Absolutely. And now, if we are talking about threading passes through the defense, it was quite a ball from Naby Keita for Luis Diaz towards the end as well. How impressed were you by Naby's performance? Do you think he maybe staked a claim for the City game?
I think he played very well, and I think he's making a big contribution at the moment. I think it's worth mentioning that he's maybe not the player that I think all of us expected when he came to Liverpool. He's not doing similar things, and I think injuries have played such a big part in that. But this season he's been absolutely massive, I think, in terms of just being a very solid squad option. He's come in, he's never let the side down. I thought it was a very good performance yesterday. It said a lot to me that Jurgen Klopp trusted him to keep him on when he was making some changes to the team, and I thought it just shows that he's really sort of built up trust with the manager and he's playing really well at the moment. Whether that gets him into the Man City team, I would suggest probably not. I just think that, you can just see, can't you, with the way that the starting 11 yesterday as well, and the subs that were made, it's probably going to be Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho. I think, as well as Keita has done, and he's been excellent this season, I think, and a big contributor to what's happening. I think Jurgen Klopp still sees that Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago as his first choice midfield, which I think is fair enough, and he can have no complaints. But I think the upside is that if you do need to change things a little later on, and you need fresh legs in that midfield, Naby Keita is 100% should be trusted to come in, because I think he's played a big role this season, and you wouldn't have any sort of qualms about bringing him on.
Absolutely. And I think the good thing for Klopp is he doesn't just have options in midfield. Yesterday showed that he also has options in attack. Luis Diaz, I don't know if he was in people's minds to start the game against Manchester City, but after last night, it would be harsh to drop him, certainly. It was his return to Portugal, and it's quite a performance.
Yeah, I think, it's an interesting one, really, because I think the back five in the midfield, they almost pick themselves to the City game, don't they? We have a really firm idea of what the first choice is, even though there's some really good options there. I think we have a really good idea of who should be starting the game. But I think up front, I think it's very much sort of up for grabs. I don't think Jurgen Klopp's selection was really made with the idea of, okay, this front three will start against Benfica and this front three will start against City. I genuinely think he'll give them all a chance in training. Whoever's performing the best will get in there, which makes it really interesting. I think that it bodes really well for Liverpool, because you're going to get your sharpest, your most informed front three. And I think you look at how Luis Diaz played yesterday, and like you say, it will be very, very difficult to leave him out. And by all accounts, he's playing like that every day in training as well. So he's you could expect that he will really stake a claim between now and the City game as well. So it's tough decisions to make, particularly because Mo Salah's maybe not firing at his best at the moment as well. So that, one of those nailed down positions. I mean, he will start surely, but you could make an argument that there could be a change there. So it's really tough decisions, ones that I'm sort of glad I don't have to make, to be honest.
Exactly. I was going to say Mohamed Salah is probably the antithesis to Luis Diaz at the moment in his form. Maybe it was a little bit better against Benfica than he was against Watford. I think Watford was probably one of his poorer showings this season. He looks slightly better, and I think if he was just maybe a bit more confident, if he hadn't gone through two major heartbreaks with Egypt, he probably would have put the ball in the back of the net. But how worried are you about his form?
Yeah, a little bit, to be honest. I think it is, it's not something we can sort of easily dismiss, because, like you say, I thought better yesterday in terms of getting into the position. So at least he was there to sort of miss the chances, which you always say about strikers. It's the old cliche, isn't it? That is something to take comfort from, the fact he's getting there. But you would like to see him put one away soon. I mean, maybe he's just saving one up for Man City, a big goal to sort of win Liverpool the league. I don't know. But yeah, you think it's like you say, the sort of disappointment at Egypt, that's clearly weighing on his mind a little bit. And I also think that the physical exertions of it all, to have taken part in those games and, flying halfway across the world to take part in both of those. And it was the same with the AFCON as well. I think that is, difficult for players to get over, but you just hope that, he has a good week in training now. The fact he was brought off early, so, not playing the full 90, and he, he's got enough time now to sort of get himself right for the City game. And like I said, maybe he's got a big moment in him. I still think, even playing the way he is at the moment, if you had one player to put through in the 90th minute to win the game for Liverpool, that he would be the one I would pick and hope would score. So yeah, it's I suppose it's an opportunity, the Man City game, for him to announce himself in, that he's back to his best, and hopefully a goal. If you can get a goal in that one, it's a big one. That could provide a real confidence boost then for the remainder of the season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully that's how the script goes against Manchester City. We'd all love to see it, a Mohamed Salah winner, especially because he scored quite a spectacular one against City in the Anfield leg earlier on in the campaign. I think that about wraps it up for today, for this morning stream. And thank you everyone for tuning in. make sure to check out the rest of the Blood Red content going out today and all the written content on Liverpool.com. Thank you.